to cry no more.
I tell you, we want church.
We won't have to cry no more.
Hi, and welcome to another segment of KISS. That is, keep it simple, sir. Keep it simple, senor, senorita. Sisters, thanks of God. Keep it simple. Of course, we know there's other words that use for that extra X, but that today we were saying so for this program. Today, we are so happy the studio is full with special guests today. We have a very special guest that will probably give you just a brief introduction of herself here. Her name is Dayton Benson, and we're going to ask her to look at the camera there and give us a little bit about who you are today, Ms. Benson.
Thank you, Bishop. I am Dayton Benson. I am a director of Dayton Scholars programming. It is a program in our community that has existed for about 9 years, and our program seeks to instill a love of lifelong learning in the youth of our community, building around social-emotional learning skills, making sure they have those skills to be able to be teachable and to learn reading, writing, and mathematics.
Right. And that stands right out, the word scholar. When you hear that scholar, you know, that's special distinction.
Yes.
But before we got here, I'm always interested in the start of a lot of our guests. You know, so often there are things that shape our lives at a very young age. A lot of times they laugh. I said, well, I've been in communication all my life. I started out as a paper boy, if you want to call that communicating.
Right. It's a form.
Praise God. So a lot of times there are things that form in our life when we're very young, the way our parents have things set up and in the house. What particular, or what things that was in your household that you feel, or at your very young age, that you probably feel God was shaping your life at a very young age? So some of the things in your home life that you feel like today that would be able to give credit for those things in your formative years?
Having present parents.
Yes.
My parents were very present. I can remember, it was a lot of us. I'm the youngest of 6, 4 boys and 2 girls. And when you have that many kids, you have to be very creative with what goes on in the household to keep your kids grounded in structure. And I just remember, you know, we ate dinner as a family. We always sat down at the dinner table and had dinner as a family. We had family game nights, and it wasn't anything fancy. We may have sat down and all at the table, and I remember very fondly playing games, a lot of word games. I always tell people I've been playing Scrabble since I was 4. It's kind of hard to beat me in Scrabble. Just, you know, we would do bingo games. Our dad sometimes would sit us down and he'll give us a very long word. Maybe take ministries for a moment. And he said, okay, the word is ministries. And you have 60 seconds to make as many words as you could. And then then he would like, set the timer, go. And then we're all quiet and we're all trying to come up with these words. And you want to be strategic because if someone, when the time was over, you count your words. But if someone else had the same word, you had to mark it off. So it was always the goal to try to get to the most unknown words that someone else may have not thought of. So I just remember good family times, always being there with each other, being supportive with each other. My brothers and my sister were all involved in sports. I remember as a young person going to games at Dunbar, watching my siblings play basketball. And then even growing up, even once I was old enough to play sports, my mom and dad did not miss a game. My dad was a coach on the sideline, and you can always see my mom in the background with the camera, just recording everything. I went to Colonel White. Another brother and I went to Colonel White the first set all went to Dunbar, where my dad first started his teaching journey. And when I was at Colonel White, the girls team won the city championship in '98. And the city did not make us a banner. My mother did. And she put all of our initials on there, our initials and our number, and she made it and presented to us at our banquet and hung it up. So just having very involved parents, they made you feel seen. They made you know that you were going to be someone, that you did not have an opportunity not to be, because they were. And they showed us who they could be, who we could be, through their work ethic and their love for us.
Yeah, and I say it branches off in creativeness.
Yes.
And the travel, the games you were talking about, give you a sense of developing self-process, thought process.
Yeah.
There's so much today, the media shapes the minds of our children so much.
Yes.
But that quiet time and being able to think causes us to be a little bit more creative in our life. A little bit more fulfilling, I think.
Yes, I agree. I definitely agree. We did not have, I'm dating myself, but we did not have access to devices that we could just be all in and, hey, Mom, and get back to it, kind of like I see my kids doing sometimes. We had to go out and, like you said, we had to be creative. We had to go outside, and we had games that we could probably take this cup and make 3 or 4 different games just dealing with this cup alone. And nowadays you have young people that are so glued to these devices, and it's not allowing their brain the time to process what's in front of them, to process what can come next. And they're just glued to it, they're stuck to it. Their whole identity is almost involved in these devices that they have access, what's going on the internet, and what's being presented to our children on the tube and on these devices and social media. So.
More of a, I know people don't want to look at it that way, more of a control type of thing.
Oh yes, it
like
is.
That free thinking that has been so great with our people being able to be creative when they had nothing.
Sure, yes. You don't see that a lot these days with the kids. It's almost sad sometimes when you watch how the kids interact with each other, because it's almost as if when they're in person with each other, they're still talking about what happened to this person on social media. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or if something were to happen at school, back in our day, something happened at school, when you got on that school bus and you went home, it was over. You know what I mean? It was done. These days, they get on that school bus, they pick those devices up, and they keep it going. And it's sad to see how much of a hold of our kids, our youth, that these devices have. And not just the devices, but what's being presented and how those devices are being used against our youth. And like you said, the creativity of our youth, the thought process of our youth, they're not going out and doing and getting a hands-on feel. They're just visually seeing, and it's not good for our.
And more detrimental to development.
Oh yes.
I know they say even a genius only uses a small portion of our brain.
Oh yes, yeah. That's how it's always been. We all, what is it, like 2%, I think, of your brain?
Yes.
So I don't know what's going on now.
Wow, even lower percentage.
Yeah.
But it would be amazing, I think, just thinking if we could use more, or how to use more. And when we read about things biblically, the things that seem so impossible, but I think even then they were using more of their brain than we are today. And I know the moralization of instruments and things that we have more convenience, but convenience also sort of hinder us being able to be creative, thinking. I guess what I'm getting at too, at the very formative years of your, some of those things probably contribute to a lot of things that you're doing today with the Scholars program.
Yes, definitely. I always say that one of my missions or goals in life is everything that I feel my parents instilled in me positively. They always had us on the go. We were visiting. One time we went to Disney World, and I don't know if I should say this on camera, but I will. My parents had a 4-door Malibu, and it was another family that was supposed to go with us, and they canceled last minute. My mom and dad said, well, we saved up this money, we're going to get these kids to Disney World, and they piled 9 of us, nine kids plus 2 adults in a 4-door Malibu, and they got us down there. And we had a ball, we had a blast. And just, I think about all of the things that positively I was exposed to. And that's what I want to do with my role in the community, is to ensure that our youth are exposed to those positive things. Because unfortunately these days, and even back then, but now more than ever, you see a lot of kids, they don't have the ability to get out and see what the world has to offer. And if we were blessed with that opportunity, and we can pass it down, and we have the ability and the position to do so, then I believe that's what we should be doing with our lives, is making sure that those coming up behind us have a good, clear path to success, and not just say, well, I made it, I don't know what they're going to do. We got to make it, because you don't want to be sitting somewhere and your nurse come in and you didn't instill enough in that nurse when you were young, and now that nurse may not, have those skills to deal with you properly. So we must take care of the youth to ensure that we can continue on.
And I like that, because in our parents back, they always had the attitude, make it happen.
Oh, yes.
When there's failure, and when things don't seem to pan out, when quitters, those saying quitters never win and winners never quit.
Yes.
And even sometime in production, or sometime we have a meet, you expect something, and all of a sudden you get an emergency cancel. Do we quit, or do we go forward?
Right, exactly.
I often say about, even in the pastorship, I was talking about somebody about meetings not long ago, and I was sharing, do you know, if a pastor had to wait till every auxiliary head is available to come to a business meeting, he would never have a business meeting.
Very true.
So you tell the story of your father, all the situation, that type of leadership, when all else fell, he made it happen. So you feel like some of the determination is in you today.
Oh, yes. I know that it is.
And I always love the parents of, they always say, I want you to do better than what I did. And so do you feel, you are there more than I am in the media, as far as dealing with children today. You don't see that very drive in the parent-adult situations today, or?
And sometimes you do. I won't say every parent lacks that leadership, or that they don't want to see their kids do well. You see parents that care about their kids. I see it every year. We have in our program, Dayton Scholars, we have a lot of repeat families, families that they put their kids in one summer, they loved it, and they're putting them back because they saw the growth in that. And that, to me, that's a parent that cares, because how easy is it for you to, when that school is out for the summertime, for you to say, okay, now it's my time to just get up and go to work and don't have to worry about getting this young person up, let them sleep in. But they're like, no, let me get my child up, get them somewhere where they're structured, somewhere where they're going to be safe, somewhere where they can build some skills. So I still see that in a lot of our adults. But then also, and on the other hand, there are some adults you don't see that in. Unfortunately, they may have were exposed to some things in life where they didn't get those skills, or didn't develop that drive for their children to succeed, or maybe they hit just a point in life where they didn't see that growth, or that as an option for their kid. And it is up to us, and as a community, to not only to work with those kids, but also with those families, to get them to the point where they do want to see their kids succeed. Because I as a parent myself, I feel that you're going to always want your kids to succeed. That's just an innate feature of being a parent. Unfortunately, people go through hardships that may have, that kills that a little bit, or diminishes that feeling. But as a parent, you're going to always want to see your kids succeed. So when we have those families, or a kid in a family that it doesn't look promising, or they don't think that they have the option to come up out of the hardship they're in, it is the community's goals to identify those families, help those families identify their needs, and how can we get the services to them so that they can get out of those hardships and they can see success in themselves and their children.
Yeah. And so I guess we would like to say, you'd like to see more of it.
Oh, yes.
That's what pretty much the outreach I would think that you're looking for,
Yes.
more. Those that are positive, all right, good, but if we get more, it make us a better community.
Oh, yeah.
And I know the family thing has always been, well, I studied at University of Maryland. I'd taken a business course 1 year in the military. And that course led all the way back to the family. Family business, the church, community, everything started with the family structure. And so the diminishing or attack on the family way as we knew it also affects our government and everything about our society. So it's a very important place and time that you're talking about. But let's get a little bit more about the scholars today.
Okay.
I just want to break the ice a little bit here to talk about our situation and see, we all have a general idea. And to make special people like yourself reach out and want to help others is that important type of thing. When you're talking about, one of my aunties passed on recently, she used to always call on me because I had mom and father, dad and mom throughout our growing up years. And so I picked up skills, building, saw wood, cut grass. And she said, my sons did not have that. And they missed that. And she said, I wish they had them in a home. But that's why I call upon you, because I know you picked up skills just being around your father and having the things that most families, the one parent, they can't have one parent families. And so I guess you see a lot of the difference with the one family parents or the one parent families that you address, or is it more two parent family, or is it percentage wise?
I mean, the families that we deal with varies. There are nuclear families where you see it's mom, dad in the household and the siblings. What we see a lot now there are a lot of single family homes where there may be just a mom. And there are families that we deal with where there's an awesome dad, just a single dad, and he's, just like the mom, they're doing their best. We see a lot of grandparents, grandmothers, and most specifically, raising children on their own. So you see the family dynamics has shifted. You see the shift in the family dynamics, and that can just, like you said, that can be contributed directly to what's going on in our communities, just with the government and things that go on in our community with people getting locked up, gun violence. You're losing a mom, dad to gun violence, and or drugs. Things that afflict a lot of our families. But I think at the core of those families is they want the kids to be successful. That's what you're mainly seeing with the kids that we deal with. At the very core, they want the kids to be invested, invest in the kids, and they want the kids to be successful. But at the same time, they may be struggling with, how do we do this?
Yes.
How can we get the right programming or get my kid into the right services so that they can be successful? But the family itself, the dynamics of it, we have a lot of two-parent households, and we have a lot of single households as well.
And one thing I love that you shared, and a lot of times in the media they don't bring that out, the fact that single parents has been single male and single female. So often you feel like it's the only females that end up single head of a household. So I'm glad. Sometimes things are controlled in the area, it's one-sided, but I know the percentage is a lot lower because the male population is way lower
Oh, yes.
than female. But there are males out there that really love and concerned about the success of their children.
Very much so. And a lot of times what I've noticed when I see where it's just a male head of the household is not only is that male concerned about the success of their children or the children that they're raising, because I see uncles raising kids on their own.
Yeah.
They're also concerned about the success of the kids around them.
Yes.
And typically when you see that, you see a lot of kids gravitating toward that single male, and they're looking up to them. And I don't know if I'm not a male, so I don't know. I don't know if it's something that they feel that, I love it though. It's a great look, and our kids need to see that, And, but I see those males, a lot of them I see at Corinthian Baptist when they're dropping their kids off. They drop them off in the morning, they're picking them up in the afternoon. If we have a parent involvement, a parent engagement meeting, they're right there. There's one gentleman in particular, he raises his niece and nephew, and he also does a lot of volunteering in the community with youth, coaching different teams, just making sure that they're putting themselves out there for the betterment of the community for these kids.
Yes.
So a lot of times when you do see that single male, it's that leadership is extending way beyond the household.
Yes.
And we like to see that, and we like to encourage it to keep going.
Yes, yes. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
You said take a whole village to raise one child, and sometimes when we try to cause a competitiveness with the sexes and so forth, we also cause that to pass on down to the children. And without realizing, we may have our reasons that we may be competitive, but we must realize we're shaping lives, and that is so important. And you're dealing with children. Now, if you were the founder, I would be asking you the where, the why, and the how. But
I am not the founder. I would credit the founders to a village, as you say, and Father Benjamin Spear Hardy, the spiritual leader at St. Margaret's Episcopal Church, which is sort of like Dayton Scholars headquarters. He and Miss Moselle Garcia, she's also the director, I think she just recently retired, the director of education at Corinthian Baptist Church, and a lot of other people. At the time, Superintendent Lawley was even involved, and it was, I think, Miami Valley CDC. They saw what was happening, and this was prior to COVID, 2 years prior to COVID, and they just saw that there's an issue in our community where our kids are not learning, and they wanted to know, what can we do to help resolve this gap in our kids' learning? So they all got together at a round table one evening, and they sat down and they wanted to know, how can we get our kids to learning better? What are they missing that's not allowing them to learn as we want them to? And then Dr. Reverend Karen Young, she served as director prior to me. She's the one who kind of passed the torch along to me. She entered the mix from Colorado, and she kind of talked about a program they had down there, and they all came together with their ideals, and they filled in the gap, and Dayton Scholars was born in 2018, summer of 2018.
All right, great. They've seen the need and call to action.
Yes.
And that's what makes a community, not just looking at it and talk about it, but someone initiating, moving forward, call to action to do something about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what we need. A lot of times, like you said, people are willing to sit and talk about what's going wrong, and opinions are just dead unless you are ready to, like you said, put a call to action. We have to go from words to action to make changes, and that's exactly what they did. And we've been thriving, and I believe our highest number of students served over a 6-week period in the summertime was just under 300. Okay. So we're in action.
Yes.
every
Yes.
summer. Every summer.
And as you develop and move forward, now your headquarters pretty much, you said, with St. Margaret, or at that address location?
Yes. So I call that the headquarters because that's where our executive director is based out of. But we are at also College Hill Community Church.
Okay.
It's on Philadelphia and Cornell. We're also at Corinthian Baptist Church and St. Margaret's. And so those are our main 3 hubs. And we partner with a lot of people in the community. Adamus, we partner with them, and we partner with Dr. Sonia Hunt over at Central State, and she brings in her team of psychology and sociology majors, and they come in and assist the kids with helping build their SEL skills and just to make the programs smoother. And I love it because the kids see young people doing great things, and they can identify with those young people, and they can say, I want to do that when I get older. So, you know, it's all a group of people coming together with the help of churches in the West Dayton to get our kids the skills they need to be successful.
Yeah. And Brother Jones, he was very excited about it. He said, you got to get them, you got to get the scholars. He was very excited about that, and that was one of the things. And that's what it takes. We have to have that fire, you know, in delivery. I know sometimes the way we deliver things is just like, I mean, if it's not exciting to you, who's it going to be excited to? I mean,
Exactly.
you know, if you don't have the heart for it.
Exactly, yes.
And what if someone wanted to get a little bit more information or wanting to become a part of or develop another hub or something extending?
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, Dayton is a large, not large as some other cities, but
It's
we have-
large.
yes, we have quite a few people that really, and the more you reach, the more development it spreads.
Exactly, and that's our goal.
Yes.
We don't want to limit ourselves to just one particular area. You know, we're Dayton.
Yes.
I'm Dayton. I'm from Dayton.
Yes.
Born and raised, product of Dayton Public Schools.
Yes.
But we don't want to just remain in just certain locations. We want to spread throughout all of West Dayton, and if we can spread through East Dayton, and if God sees fit, move out on the outskirts of Dayton too, wherever we can see the need for our students to be educated and to be nurtured, so they have the skills that they need, so that they can put themselves in a position to learn. Because that's what it's all about when it comes to SEL, is making sure your students are equipped with the skills to be able to learn. And if anyone wanted to get more information, they could reach out to me at DaytonScholars@gmail.com. And or my contact number, I believe you have.
I believe you're up on the screen.
Okay.
I think you brought it up there.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just reach out to me directly. We're open for partnerships. We had a meeting, I don't want to speak too soon, but we had a meeting with a very young church, Born Favored. It's in the Westwood community, and they're doing some great things with their church. They're remodeling. They're going to expand their property into the community some more. So we're in talks with them to hopefully be able to open up a hub with them next year, and that will, you know, we actually have our parents come in and check in our kids. But if we can get in a location where we can get footwork, then we can change up the way that we enter our kids. We're not going to leave those kids out and say, because your parent can't come and sign you in, you can't have you in the program. So whatever we need to do to adjust our delivery to ensure that we're reaching the kids that need the services, then we're willing to do that. So we are open to people coming out wanting to volunteer, mentors, and like you said, even open up additional sites to make sure that we are servicing as many kids as that we can.
Yeah. And, you know, and my hat's off to a lot of the young people today. We don't get enough attention. We get a lot of negative attention, as if the young people are not doing anything. That's why I love the showcase and come, let our community know we have people in action that is concerned about our community and the growth. And I have to say, recently I had Caleb and Marcy from the DARE program ministry.
Oh, nice.
And they got together and had a great citywide service at the University of Dayton Arena.
Oh, wow.
And actually filled the arena. The parking lot was almost like it was a game this past Sunday, in fact.
Nice.
But I said the media, the main station did not cover it. But it was such a beautiful interaction, social gathering, although spiritual gathering. And this is something that I'm loving to see. And I like to see showcase. So we don't have a lot of time the older people are moving on. But we got to see there's a fire that's just burning. But we need to kindle and put a little bit more air and a little more fuel. And that's why I'm so happy about what you're doing in the organization that you're doing as far as the scholars. That name speaks scholars of education.
Yes.
And you're preparing them for education. You're a little bit more on the education, the forward for, is it for college, for trade, or just?
Just, it's to instill a love of lifelong learning, you know. So it could be for college, it could be for a trade, learning for life. I always tell my students I'm going to be a lifelong student, or students, I tell my children that I'm going to be a lifelong student. So as long as I'm on earth, I'm going to always pursue additional education because it's just the foundation of my family, and I love to be informed. And you can never be too old to go and get more information. And especially when you're young, it's a great time to go and do it. And so we want to let our kids know you can do that. You know, even if no one in your family had the opportunity to go to college or to get a trade, you can be the one to change that path for your family. So, yeah.
And like you said, the information highway we live in today, if we use it properly,
Yes, sir.
today we don't have to be limited to just even this country
Exactly.
as far as information.
Exactly.
And there's so much information out there. I used to tell them, they laugh. I said, if you live 200 years, you still would not learn all that is there available for you. I know years ago when I was growing up, I thought a professor knew everything. Until we grew up and said, oh, wow, they in their field, but they're not really
Exactly.
everything.
No.
Or the doctors, your family doctors, thought he knew. Now we've got so many specialists for the years, I know.
Everything.
He said, what was the family practitioner doing 50, 60 years ago?
Exactly.
But now with all that information and so many things that are open for them.
It's an open field.
Yes.
And we're in a service sector. So right now, the jobs that these young people may have when they're 30, 40, that job doesn't even exist at this time. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some of them do exist at this point, but there's so much more that we're expanding out to with the advancement of AI and just with service period, like you said, when you look in the medical field and just the educational field, it's always evolving. And these are positions and roles that our young people has the opportunity to fill.
Yes.
But they have to know that they are valuable and that they can do it. They have to know that they are seen. They have to feel seen to know that they can be in those positions. And they have to be able to identify, to look up and see someone like them in those positions or helping guide them to those positions. So it's very important to be with the youth and let them know that you can do this. You know, it is out here. You don't fix your mind on just what you see right in front of you. You can go and be a specialist of whatever you want to be. You can go get a doctorate and be a doctorate of your own philosophy.
Yes.
You know?
Oh, yes. And I love it. I say I'm excited. I know we lost something here in this city, National Cash Registers, NCR, the home of National Cash Registers. But I was talking to someone a few years back, and they were saying actually National Cash Register had to leave the area because it was more mechanical cash register back in the day. And when we went more digital, we had no one trained in the area to just move right into it. So they had to go to an area where people had had the training to keep afloat, because that's what business is about, they're making money and selling a product.
Very true.
And I really hate that we lost them as being headquarters here.
That is very true. And personally, I think it did not have to be that way, because a lot of corporations are looking outward for talent when we have so many youth here that if we can get our kids educated, then you have a talent pool right here that you can pull from. You don't have to go to New York for the brightest minds. They're right here.
Yes.
They're right here, coming up out of our universities here in Dayton, or even coming up out of our two-year colleges here in Dayton.
Yes.
So the talent is around. We just have to be able to we have to be able to help the youth identify what is available for them,
Yes.
where they can tune into, and then help them on the pathway to develop that love for that skill and keep them home. You know, we need our universities investing in our community and our youth, instead of, looking outside for the talent. And just as companies have to be flexible and versatile with their bottom line and their mission, to, like you said, National Cash Register felt like there was no one here for the training, and they probably had a whole field of people that they could have took on the task of training. And it's just about being able to identify where you can flip your program delivery, which we've had to do a couple times with Dayton Scholars. We had to adapt to COVID and go totally virtual. And then we had to adapt coming out of COVID and building our numbers back up until we can get back into our pre-COVID levels. And recently, we're kind of doing a little change this summer with our program delivery, where our program has always been designed to mimic a classroom, a school setting, where the kids come in for that instruction during the day and they sit in the classroom. So this year, we are looking at having our kids rotating and getting into different labs. So that way we're delivering hours a little bit differently, trying to be more efficient, and also ensure that the kids are still enjoying the program, but that we're going to be able to give them a little bit more with building in our STEM lab and with the kids. So it's just all about being able to be flexible with your delivery, knowing what for us, what our students want, knowing what our families need, and seeing where we can help meet those needs for the families in our program.
I hate to use that title, inferior complex, but I tell you, you are working with people who are trying to get them to overcome that inferior complex that probably been put upon them one way or another. When I was operating engineer at one of the fields I studied in, I always noticed the difference that as one young child, you show them this piece of equipment and already said, young man, you think you can operate this? No, so they shake their head already with the negative thing. They look at the side. And this other young child, you would ask them, oh yes. And they would, you see the difference in that. And they might work and operate equipment and tear up things or make so many mistakes for several weeks or months. But the mindset, I think maybe that we haven't developed and correct the negative opinions some of the young people may have of themselves. Because right there, I feel that's one of the greatest battles to overcome. That not be able to think that you are able to qualify, like you said. We have qualified people.
Sure.
But the mindset, and sometimes, I hate to say it, sometimes media is no good.
Oh, yeah.
For them to think that you are not, you can't.
That's exactly what it is. I mean, they're looking at maybe seeing other people, they have access to this, they have access to that. So they're not feeling seen, they're not feeling valued. And that's what we do within our program, is that we're making the kids know their value. You have value. And when that kid knows that they have value, that builds upon their confidence.
Yes.
That builds upon their safety. Now, once you feel safe, now you're feeling comfortable.
Yes.
And so if I'm timid and you put this apparatus in front of me, I don't want to deal with that. I might break that, and then you might be mad at me. I don't want to handle that. But once we tell that kid, you have value, you can do this, now they're confident, and they're amongst people that have shown them that they feel compassion and love for them. Now they're like, okay, I can take a gamble at that. Let me try that. You know, I know that they're not going to be upset if I mess it up a little bit. Let me go ahead and take a step at that. And that's what we're missing a lot of times in delivery of education, is that we're not looking at that SEL component.
Yeah.
We're not knowing that, we should know, but when those kids have challenges in front of them, if they don't have the mindset or the skills, and even some adults don't have those skills to say, I can do this, you know, I've been invested in, I know my worth, I can regulate my emotions, I can control my emotions. Let me go ahead and now I feel confident enough to take that step out and try this challenge, versus where you have this challenge and that poor timid child has never been told that they can or are capable. They're not going to step up to the plate. So they need people to say, you can do this, you know. Give them a story. Let them know that you were once there as well. We all didn't, well, maybe some people popped out and was a star immediately in their head. But, you know, we all had to be built up.
Yes.
Like I said, with our parents, they started that with us when we were young.
Yes.
And I'm very confident in myself in a lot of things. I mean, I won't say that I don't have moments where I'm like, oh, I might not be able to do that. But, you know, sometimes you just got to put your big girl shoes on and step out in there. And if you have been nurtured enough, then you won't look at that challenge as a setback, but as a challenge. Let me go ahead and take that on. And so that's what SEL is all about. And that SEL is not, you can't have successful academics without successful SEL skills. You know what I mean? You cannot think a child is ready to learn or express themselves in writing if they don't have those skills to help identify who they are or to help identify what they are capable of. Self-confidence, self-awareness, social awareness, collaboration amongst others. You know, our kids need that. They need to know that that is possible from them, and they don't just have to look at someone across town and think, oh, because they have the big and the brightest that they're the smartest. They just got a little bit of a head start.
Yes.
We as a people have always had to run from behind, and they need to know that. That's why it's always important to know your history.
Yes. Run behind because it's not that it wasn't intelligent, because they were not allowed.
It was not allowed.
The thing is, I think about a little school, but probably in my day, so they had a little school book they had that said a little train that thought it could.
Oh,
And as the little train goes up there, I think I can, I think I can.
The little
I
engine that
think I
could.
can. And the closer I get to the top, I thought I could. You know? And those little things that we have to implant into our children at a young age.
Yes.
I know biblical standing because, you know, I know you have a Christian background. God's word often think, and it says, so a man thinketh. So there's a great part in the thought process, so is he. And then again, to speak it, life and death is in the power of our tongue. And I think about great men on a national level. We have great men locally, but some of those, as far as what was it that Martin Luther King's slogan was? We shall overcome. The positiveness.
Yes.
And because he spoke with a positive, in a very adverse situation, and I share things like that, look at those leaders. He never lost a slogan that we shall overcome. When Obama come in such adverse situation, what was the thing is, yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
So it's not that the skill and the talent and the ability is not there.
Absolutely.
But it has to be stirred up. And it seems to me that you guys, with the scholars, that's what you're doing in our community.
Yes, it is. That's exactly what we aim to do in our community, is to let them know that they are capable, just through our programming and just exposing them, collaborating with partners to let them know you are capable of success, and you're not you're not behind anyone mentally, like as far as you don't have less brain capability. You are able to be just as smart and to succeed just as well as any other kids in any of the other communities around us. You just have to know that you can. You have to know that you can be successful. And that just comes from building those skills in those students to know that they are capable of success. I mean, you just have to drive it home with our kids, You can't let them for 1 minute think that they are inferior, because we are not. Not at all.
Oh, no. And that was the competitive spirit was put out there. And the enemy placed that out there for the purpose of destruction. Has been working very well. That's why people like yourselves now, and need more people like yourself, to take that hands-on to work with from that area. For the area I come in, it was a lot of things that I faced at that time. It wasn't something really acceptable, but because of what my parents had done. Maybe not in the supernatural, but they did not stop. And it gave me the drive to do the things that I had done. And so my grandson, we started raising him at a very young age, although he got him back to his parents as an adult. But I was operating, he heard me operating cranes and things like that nature was almost unheard of, almost still unheard of in certain areas. And he was watching my wife took me a big lunch. And he said, I want, Grandma, you go fix me a big lunch like that? When I go to work, I'm going to buy you a house, Grandma.
Yep, motivation.
Yes. And he was able to scrapyard a few years ago. He was so happy to tell me, Granddaddy, I operate a crane.
Oh.
But of all those years, he held on to the fact that he knew his granddaddy operated a crane. And that type of motivational thing that you're talking about. I had a group here a couple of years ago was telling me now, after 2-year program at Sinclair, they can be an airplane pilot.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
But those type of things need to be networked and get the word out there. Hey, look.
That's exactly what I'm always saying is that you can't blame people for not knowing what they don't know. So again, the goal of a community is to, put it out there. These are things that are available to the people in our community.
Yes.
It must be out. We have to get the word out there and let them know, because there's so much opportunities out here that our kids are unaware of. They're not exposed to. For instance, with my boys, they had an opportunity, my own boys, they had an opportunity to be part of Ohio Buckeye Boy State. Are you familiar with that?
Not right off.
Right. It is an opportunity for rising seniors to, and there's even one for girls, to go to a university. You spend 7 days on campus at a university, and you learn all the ins and outs of how making a law and being a part of Ohio Congress. The governor gets involved. DeWine is there on site, and they just get all these skills that we don't know about, and that's an issue in our community with us not being in those arenas. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And you have all these kids from other communities that get exposed to that, and they pass it down to their kids. Their dad did it, they're going to do it, their sons do it. But then we are in our community don't know anything about it.
Yes.
And then when you go look on TV to see who you're voting for and who are these people making the laws for your community, they look like John Jr., and John the Third.
Yeah.
And they need to start looking like us.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't know about those programs. So once I got a word of it, I'm going to push it out there. I want everybody, if you're interested in getting into this type of Congress or government or anything. This is a great route to go get exposure to.
Yes.
And my boys loved it. They made friends that they still keep in touch with, all from the state of Ohio, all over Ohio. So just stuff like that, that we don't, just basic stuff like that, that affects our day to day, you know, maybe not what they were doing at that moment, but down the line, it's going to help shape things that goes on in our community. And if we are not having a seat at the table, how are we expected to make a change? Because we're uninformed about what's going on, or even how that bill came about to pass in our community, and why is it affecting us?
Yes.
We don't even know the process of why.
Yes.
So now, when there's programs like that, I'm going to shout it from the mountaintops.
Yes.
You know you can get your child in this. Oh, you said your son, go get your son and get your daughter involved in this, so that they can see what's going on and why policies affect our communities the way they do.
Yes. And I'm just small, one little thing here at the Community Access, but we all do a little part where we can share the word, pass the word, and sometimes the word of mouth is even better than the media.
Oh, yes.
And I'm awful happy because I'm from my neighborhood. Right here, I'll tell you, a lot of beautiful people, politicians, ventures. You probably heard Hog Bottom.
Hog Bottom? I've heard of that.
Dayton, yes.
Okay.
A lot of beautiful people that are in a representation of our people, but it needs to be widespread. And more need to know that they're able.
Yes.
So not only that, even in the ministry, there's something a little different. I work with a lot, because a lot of females is not accepted in areas, but I have been supportive for a lot. You can you can't. More doors are being opened now, but it's still not enough.
It's not enough.
And because it's not that we don't have the ability, a lot of times people talk about Black Wall Street, but this type of thing went from one part of the country to the other. But it's just sort of been quietened. In fact, Wilmington, North Carolina was very, very political, and they were all minority
Oh, yes.
operated. But what I'm saying is, some of the children today feel like that the only thing that's promoted is the violence,
Oh, yes.
the negative things, and they feel like there's nothing I can do. This is the only way that I can be successful. But we have to learn that we can also build our own success.
Yes, we can.
And that's the thing that we feel like we don't. I know you got a great job ahead of you, and I'm hoping more and more develop, because they say the mind is a terrible thing to waste.
It is.
And that is so true. It's not just a cliche,
It's not.
because when our mindset is not in the right place,
Terrible things can happen and continue to persist
Yes.
in our communities.
yes,
And we have to show the kids there is light at the end of this tunnel, that you can come up out of a bad situation. You do not have to mimic what's being blasted in front of you. You know what I mean?
yes,
It is a lot of negativity that's put in front of our kids, just with on the TV, on the social media, you know, fighting and just fighting and exposing yourself. You know, we have to have programs in place to highlight the positivity that's instilled in us. You know, as a people, we are very resilient as a people. That's how we were able to shape ourselves up out of someone else's narrative and start building our own. And the goal is that we keep control of our narrative.
Yes.
Because if we do not, that's when the kids will say, that's all I can do.
yes.
This is all I can do. So we have to keep control of that narrative and let the youth know that you can do this, and then when it's your turn, you do the same thing. You have to go back and teach as well. So, yeah.
And constantly reinforce this.
Yes,
And I understand this is basically what your program is all about.
absolutely.
Reinforcing the positivity into the children and even the parents,
Yes.
because we have so many young parents that have that negative, and they pass that same thing on to their children, and it become a domino effect. I hate to use
Oh,
the word.
yes. That is very true. That is very true.
So we thank you today, and the last couple minutes here, I don't know if it's something on your mind that you want to perhaps, if you would look at your camera there and tell them at home that with that preaching, reaching invitation to our community, what the Scholars is about. I know we talked about a lot.
Sure.
And your projected goal, and how they can begin reaching you to help this vision grow.
Sure. So with our program, Dayton Scholars, like me and the bishop have been talking about, we are in place to help you with your student build the skills that they need to be successful and to build a love of learning for the rest of their lives. Our program not only focuses on building those social emotional skills, but they're also being exposed to reading, writing, math work during the summertime to help build your summer gap. We have safe places and places where your child will feel seen, connected, and loved. We still have spaces available. Our goal is to enroll about 250 students this summer, and we're about 150 full. So if you see the contact information, feel free to reach out to me at the number. Feel free to send an email to daytonscholars@gmail.com. If you are in the community, see this, and you feel obligated to step into action, reach out to us. We would love to have you come and be a part of our team via volunteering, mentorship. If there is a church that is looking for programs for their scholars, for their young people, feel free to reach out as well. We would love to talk about maybe partnering with you so that we can extend our footprint and our mission in our community here in West Dayton. So we are available for the youth here.
So the ball is in your court. I want you to blow up Ms. Benson's phone, email, let her know that we are ready to move ahead with you.
Yes, sir.
And keep Dayton great.
Yes.
Again, not just again, make it again. Keep it great.
Keep it great.
Because you were part, or your ancestors were part of making the Gem City it is today. May God bless you. May heaven smile on you is our prayer.